Hey everyone, and welcome to EFRL Esports here. So for the European Formula Racing League, it's round 7 of 22 for the Monaco Grand Prix, and it's the one that nobody wants to miss. Especially from our end, either way, not from the drivers, and I would assume, as it's one of the most anticipated races of the year that we usually have on a Formula 1 calendar. So we're getting started with our full qualifying session here right now. Q1 has just gotten started. We are already counting down from the 18 minutes, already down to about 16.5 minutes. As we have drivers getting out on track already. Quite a few drivers out. So we're going to get a few things on screen and just have a look at how many drivers exactly are getting out on track here right now. So let's have a look at our map and a few more details that's going to be a bit useful for us. Now, as you know, it's always one of the most difficult tracks of the year, I would say, for most of the drivers that are in the league there. So it does depend on how much traffic they get, though. I know of quite a few drivers that tend to actually enjoy driving around Monaco here. So going to be an interesting race, but we're going to have to get through the qualifying session here first. And I know the guys have a bit of a competition going on for the fans in terms of how much pit stops are going to be made in the race in total by all the drivers. So and there's a bit of a prize for that, so we'll have a look at that as well down at the end of the session. I'll try to get that graphic up on screen, and the guys will take care of that on the league's end. So right now it's just not too many cars out on track, just a few of them out on track here at the moment. We'll go to the grid lineup as well in just a bit here, as we got Paulie flying on a hot lap here right now, as I can see, driving very, very well in a Mercedes around this track to get his first lap time in, and quite a few more drivers are coming behind him so far. We haven't gotten majority of the grid out as yet, so not a busy track around Monaco as it is right now. So just about at least 20% of drivers out at the moment. So let's see if they're going to be making full use of the bit of a free track and try to get our lap times in as soon as possible before the rest of the grid does decide to come out here, because I don't know if there's some sort of arrangement or agreement made between these drivers not for everyone to get out on track at the same time. I've seen a Monaco race go that way before during qualifying, but that was a short qualifying session on that one that they do. We did have majority of the drivers get out on track at the same time. Became a very, very busy track indeed during qualifying session, but that was just for one 18-minute session. We got 3 qualifying sessions to get through here, so we got 14.5 minutes left in this qualifying. So let's see, we got times coming in right now. Processor goes 112.6 and Paulie goes 112.1 so far. So let's see if those times are going to start to drop just a little bit in just a few minutes or so. We got BG Cactus going 110.9, goes a whole 2 seconds faster there, so pretty impressive on his lap time there. We got ToGG's out of the session already. Unfortunately for him, will not be able to make a lap time. That means he's going to be starting down the back of the grid. We got Debbie Zach here, guess went P4, 113.1, so a bit of a range between the lap times that we're going to see here right now. But of course, you know, that's going to change as we get further down to the end of qualifying, because we know drivers are going to tend to start to go a bit faster as the session progresses on. So we're waiting for a few more drivers to get started on their hot laps here before they continue on to the actually getting the lap times in. So waiting for that to go on. In the meanwhile, we can probably just go through our grid lineup as it is here right now. Alright, so having a look at this week's grid lineup, we got for Mercedes, we got Dan Clement and Paulie there as usual. Ferrari, we got Luki and ToGG. Unfortunately, ToGG out of the session already. We got Devils and HR12 driving for Red Bull there as usual. We got McLaren with Eska and Christoph. We got Prazasek and Jurek in the Renault. And then for AlphaTauri, I got Havlis and Debizak. We got Cap and Carlo for Racing Point. BG Cactus and Groot there for Alfa Romeo. We got Cuban and Gargamel for Haas. And we got Blescott and Jerry there for Williams Racing F1. So that is our grid lineup as we have it. A full grid of these 20 drivers on for this session. It's going to be quite an interesting race, especially on the opening lap, to see how well these guys are going to be able to get away. And we got Jurek on his hot lap at the moment here, already about in sector 2, and getting through. Not a proper sector, but he could still be on for a pretty good lap here. We got 4 lap times in so far, and we're going to start to get a bit more competitive as we start to get a few more times in. So we're just waiting for that to happen here right now. So Direct still on his lap. We got Esk on a lap. We got Cap on a hot lap as well. And we got Christoph out of this session as well here. So very easy to get taken out on this track with the barriers being so very close on either side of the track. So there is the McLaren taken out already, just stuck on the track there. That's going to have to be cleared off. So qualifying session will continue on as normal here. So we're just going to wait for that to get cleared off as well there. So, and I see Cap is out of as well. So that's 3 drivers now out of qualifying here. I think it's going to be a bit of an interesting race when we do get to that. I'm not sure how many drivers you guys anticipate are going to be finishing this race, but it does seem like some of them might be having some problems in the race itself. Let's see how that's going to go down. We got Jurek now with a 112.3. Goes in between Dominic and Prasek now. So he's P4 with that. Dominic goes P3 with his time at 112.2, 110 faster than what Jurek just did. Let's get on down to the rest of the grid as they're getting lap times in. Where is Groot here right now? Because he's running down there in sector 2 and get it wrong. So waiting for some more times to come in. I see W's is already on another outlap there. Eska's just went 14.6. So we're getting a bit of a range of lap times coming in here right now. Quite not too far spaced off, I would say, but just about a second or half a second. And a few tenths between some of these drivers. And we're just waiting for the rest of them to finish off with this qualifying session. So we still got 10.5 minutes left in Q1 here right now. That is qualifying 1 here, guys. Remember, qualifying 1, we do need only the top 15 drivers with best lap times to go over to qualifying 2. So that's basically what the whole session is about right now. They gotta just make the fastest possible lap time in here to make sure they're in the top 15. Otherwise, they will not progress on to qualifying 2. And being that this is Monaco, guys, track is so tight around here. It's extremely difficult to overtake on this track. As if you've seen previous races here at Monaco, you kind of understand why that is. And we can see right now, if you do get on board, I guess with Groot here, we'll be able to see what the situation is. As it's very difficult as he's now going by Eskas there. So as you can see, there's only certain parts of this track that's actually going to be possible to get an overtake done in. And that's without actually taking any damage to your car as well when trying to get that overtake done, or even getting a penalty. So it's going to be very difficult to get overtakes done. These guys can be right up to the rear of another car and chasing them down along this track for lap after lap, and they're still not going to be able to get an overtake done unless they really have had some practice with that and understand exactly which point in this track they're going to be able to be doing that. So we'll see how that works out, but it's going to be quite an interesting start, because qualifying is very important for that reason, just because it's so difficult to get an overtake done here. Because starting on pole is going to be the best possible thing you can get done here, because it'll be much easier to actually keep that as you go on through. So let's have a look at the range of lap times that we have there so far. So we got BG Cactus still holding on to provisional pole. Well, this is the fastest lap time we'll call it in this session. This is just Q1 so far. So 110, fastest lap in the session, 110.9 by BG Cactus there. Dan Clement goes second fastest in the session so far, 110.959. With BG Cactus going 110.931. That is a 200 of a second difference between these guys there right now. Havlis going 111.039. Devizak goes fourth with 111.5. Gargamel now fifth with 111.594. That's about 600 of a second difference. Groot goes sixth, 111.9 there. Paulie goes 7th, 112.1. Dominic in 8th right now, 112.2. Jurek in 9th, 112.3. And Prasek in 10th with 112.6, and currently Bleskant in 11th, 112.7. Eskas down to 12 right now with his 114.6. HR12 goes 115.7, down to 13th with that lap time there. We got Cuban going through the tunnel section here right now, about to get on the exit. A very difficult braking zone and not easy to avoid, invalidating the lap on this part of the track here. Very difficult as we get on to the end of sector 2 here and get into sector 3. It's very difficult, as you can see, guys, on board from a driver's perspective here, how difficult it is to actually get this track right, and without invalidating laps. You cannot cut a corner, you will get a penalty, and it's so easy to have happen on this track. As we have Cubic going across the line here right now, goes P4 at 111.529, literally 100th of a second faster than what Debizak did there. Oh, we got someone just was a bit faster there. Who was that? I'm trying to figure out. Oh, I think that was Carlos going up into P3 right now with a 110.993. That is just about 400 of a second time difference between him and Dan Clement for P2 there right now. So as we said, guys, the lap times are going to start to get very, very competitive as we get further on into qualifying here right now. And this is just qualifying 1. Qualifying 3 is going to be where it's at, where they're going to be pushing as much as they can. And those lap times might be separated just by a thousandth of a second between a few drivers. So we're going to see how competitive this grid is going to get. But it looks like it's going to be quite an interesting one here. And Devils now goes fastest in this session with a 110.838 and goes above BG Cactus with that. So that pushes the rest of the grid down there right now. So quite an interesting lap time from him in the Red Bull, pushing on through and getting a pole position lap time there so far. If it was just a short qualifying session, he would have already been starting on pole with that. But still, just 6 minutes left in this session, guys. It's still actually enough time for everyone to still get back out and do one more lap around here, or even 2, depending on what the situation is with their tires. So it's going to be a bit of a free choice with tires in this session to work with. And of course, it's going to be a little bit different when we get to qualifying 2. We're going to get through that in just a bit there as well. And I'll probably talk about what our standings are so far for the constructors and drivers. But for now, let's just focus a bit on this qualifying. So we still got Jerry on an outlap here right now. He should be getting started with his outlap very soon here. I think he's the only driver left to make a qualifying time in here right now. So let's give him a chance to get started on his lap here right now as he gets down to pit straight. And let's see what sort of lap time he is going to be making in that Williams there, because he's going to be expected to get a little further up the field if he can. So currently Dominic now takes away provisional time there, fastest time in the session with a 110.6, 2 tenths faster than what Devils did. And majority of our cars are currently into the pits, so a bit of a free track out there, and quite sure everybody's going to be getting back out for one last run around here. And that's Jerry doing a purple sector 1 here at Monaco so far. So far so good with the lap times, guys. It's been quite interesting to see what the drivers in this league can do. So we're gonna continue on. Oh, and that's an invalidated lap there from Jerry. He's gonna have to try that again. Carlos now goes fastest in the section with a 110.331. That's about 300 of a second. 3 seconds, 3 tenths faster than what Dominic did there in P2. So Jerry is out as it is there right now. Wonder if perhaps second Blescott running a lap here at the moment. So definitely looks like Prasek is running a lap at the moment here. Actually not sure if he is 100% running a lap. Let's get on back down to Blescott here, who is exiting the tunnel section here right now. And let's see how this lap is going for him so far. Okay, so let's have a look what's changed so far. So far, still Carlos holds on to fastest lap in this session with his 110.3. Majority of our drivers we can see are still in the pits. Doesn't look like some of these drivers at the top of the grid are going to get back out, as the top 10 are quite sure they're going to be getting on through to the next session with the lap times that they have so far. So quite a few 110s, quite a few 111s. Those in the 112s might want to try. That's from 11 down. Might want to try to get a better time in, because we do have already 3 drivers out, which means it's currently just Escas and IHR12 that's in the danger zone of getting eliminated from qualifying 2 right now. So let's have a look on how that's going to work out. I know one driver was quite early off in the session, but let's see how that's going to go in terms of this going over to qualifying 2 here. If it's actually going to be just 15 drivers getting into qualifying 2 or a little bit less, but the usual thing is when we have a grid of 20 drivers, guys, it's usually just top 15 with the fastest time. We're going to go over. Oh, and that's Esca's out. So it's usually the top 15 drivers that goes over to qualifying 2. And then from that session, we have the top 10 going over to qualifying 3 to get the top 10 sorted for the grid in terms of lap time. So we're coming to the end of this session here right now, because we got just about half a minute left in, and that's the time BG Cactus has to get towards get over the finish line if he wants to get started on this lap here. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to make it in time. He's trying to get around as fast as he can here right now. As he saw, he cut through that section of the track just to save some time. Actually looks like he might be able to get across the line in time to get started on one final lap, because he does have to cross the line, the finish line, before that timer runs out, and it's just about 12 seconds here right now, so he needs to get a move on, and looks like he will be getting across and get started with his one final lap here around Monaco for qualifying 1. There he goes, getting started in sector 1 with that right now. So let's see if he's going to be making a faster time than a 110.9. So far so good on the lap that he's doing here. Let's have a look on the overhead cam and see how that lap is going for him. I think majority of our drivers are finished with the qualifying session so far, even HR12 there. So we're going to have a look in a bit to see what the games decide for the fate of the drivers going over to qualifying 2 in terms of the drivers that we had out in the session earlier, especially with Escas there as well. So we'll see how that works out, because Escas did make a 114.6. Unfortunately, that was in 16. So it should be just the top 15 cars going down to direct should be going over to qualifying 2. We'll have a look how that works out, because sometimes there is a bit of a change with the amount of drivers going over, and that's an invalidated lap there from BG Cactus. I think Jerry might still be running a lap, I'm not sure. But yeah, it's usually a bit of a change sometimes when drivers get out of the session a bit early. Sometimes you only have about 14 drivers go over to the next session. It just kind of all depends on what the situation is on track during the first qualifying session. But we're going to have a look at that in just about a few seconds here, as we're going to get off this session here right now when everyone retires. And I think that's it for qualifying for everyone here, because Jurek is getting into the pits there as well. So I think we probably have to wait for his car to just get in the garage, and also for BG Cactus and Jerry, they're going to have to retire after the session. Before we can progress on through and have a look at what our qualifying 1 results are like, and then we're going to get straight into qualifying 2. And it's going to be a bit interesting in that one as well. We'll have a chat about that in just a bit, as we're waiting just for these 2 more drivers here to just retire off. I think Jurek's car is about into the pits. He's going to be retired right there, and I think BG Cactus probably still on, well, he's in the pits there as well. Oh, there we go. Alright, so let's have a look at our qualifying 1 results here for round 7 of 22 for Monaco for the EFRL league here. So Carlos takes fastest lap in this session on 110.3, and Dominic there goes second fastest, 110.6. We got Devils in P3 for his session here. We got Cuban going 4th fastest, and BG Actors in 5th. Dan Clement takes 6th, Havlis 7, Debizak 8, Gargamel 9, Groot there in 10, Prasek 11, Blescont in 12, Jerry in 13, Polly 14, Jurek in 15, makes it over to qualifying 2. Out of that session, it's going to be, so starting 16, we have Escas there, HR12 starts 17, we got Christoph starting 18, 19 for Cap, and just one more driver down, and that's it for the session, because they were out a bit early off. With that, so we're gonna get straight into qualifying 2 here right now, guys, and this is a qualifying session where if you guys are not familiar with how it works, qualifying 1, they just try to make the fastest time to get into the top 15 to get into qualifying 2. In qualifying 2, these guys have to be a bit more careful, because whichever set of tires they do their fastest lap time on here, they're gonna have to start the race on those set of tires, regardless of if they did 3 laps on it or they did 10 laps on it. and that's going to be the lifespan that's left on the tires. But that is, of course, if they make it over to qualifying 3, that applies. If they're out of qualifying 3, that doesn't apply. They have a free choice of tires starting on the grid, with whatever they want, and they're going to be able to start on a new set of tires as well. We already have cars starting to exit the pits as we get started with qualifying 2 here. 15 minutes already counting down, 30 seconds gone already, and time's going to go away pretty quick. And let's see, so we got our top 15 cars out on track. We got Havlis leading them out there, and he's trying to get started with his hot lap for us if he can here at the moment. So far so good with the qualifying, and we're going to wait to see what some lap times get in here. Once again, guys, I know the league does have that bit of competition going on for their fans there about the amount of pit stops that are going to be happening in total in the race for all the drivers all together. And because it is Monaco, it's a bit difficult to actually determine that. So it's a little more reasonable to work with if it's another track. Any other track, like literally any other track than Monaco, it's a bit easier to estimate the amount of pit stops that are going to happen for each driver, and then just do like an estimate for the total amount of pit stops you're going to have in a race. But being it's Monaco, there's going to be a lot of safety car situations, a lot of VSC situations, a lot of broken front wings, and a lot of pit stops. So we'll see how that works out and how many total pit stops are going to happen in this race. That graphic will be shown on screen at the end, just before we close off the race on the final lap. So I'll bring that up on screen so the guys can have a look at that as well if they do check back the screen there. But it's going to show on their ends as well. They will keep track of it. But just for the viewers to have a look on what's happened there as well, we'll probably put that up on screen so you guys can have a look. So we got a few drivers on their hot laps here already. That includes Havlis here leading the field around for going to be the first driver to get a lap time in. I think our fastest time in the previous session was about a 110 point something. So we're going to see how fast these guys are about to go in this session here right now. So it should be a bit interesting as well to see how this is going to work out for EFRL. Okay, sorry about that for a second. So let's have a look at what the qualifying times are that we have in here so far. So let's go on with Prosek. I think he is running, probably not running a lot, but let's keep it on Devils at the moment. So Havel is currently fastest in this qualifying 2 sessions so far. The 110.6, BG Cactus second fastest 110.7, and Cuban Air in P3 110.8. Just a 10 separate this top 3 so far. Devizak in P4 111.1, Clement there P5 111.169. That's 300 of a second difference. Gargamel in 6 111.3, Blescon there 7 111.4, and Paulie there in 8 111.436, 300 of a second time difference between him and Blescon. Groot there 9 to the 111.5, Jurek currently 10 to 111.8, and Dominic in 11 to the 114.6. Gonna have to improve that time. Jerry on a hot lap here right now. Let's have a look on board with him as he gets through the tunnel section and see how this lap is gonna go, and if he's able to get into the top 5 at least with a lap time in here. Because as we know, as we said before, guys, it's going to be only the top 10 cars from this session with the fastest lap times that are going to be able to make, and that's him into the wall just a little bit, that are going to be able to make it over into qualifying 3, and those top 10 cars will have to start the race on whatever set of tires they use in this session and make the fastest lap time with, regardless of what set of tires that is or how many laps you did on them. So even if you wear off the tires so badly and it's barely going to last 2 laps in the race, that's what you have to start on. But that's how the strategy works, that these guys know how it is. So they are going to do a very minimum amount of laps on a set of tires out on track, just to make sure that they don't waste laps on the tires, because when they do get started with the race on that, they will have to pit much earlier than expected, and it's going to affect their strategy just a bit. So let's see how that's going to work. We got 3 more drivers yet to make lap times in here, as we got Prasek with a 125, a very bad lap. He's going to have to try and improve that as much as he can there. So let's see how that's going to work out for him. Following on with Carlos here right now, so let's see how his lap is going, and hopefully he's having a good lap here. Okay, so that's Carlos going fastest in the session so far with a 110.2. Goes about 4 tenths faster than what Havlis did. One more driver left to make a lap time in, and that is Jerry here, still on his out lap and going around. So we're just going to wait for him to get started with his out lap. And let's see what sort of lap time he's going to get in. We got just under 7 minutes left in qualifying 2 here. That means everyone's going to be getting out for one last go on this track, which I think a few of them already are out on. So let's have a look. Devils went 6th fastest so far with 111.001. And let's see how that's going to work out for him. If he's going to be able to keep it there. I think Dominic is on a fast lap here right now. Let's see how he finishes his lap, if he's able to get a better time in than his current 110.833, which holds him into P4 for going over to the next session right now, which it seems to be fast enough. But I think he's trying to make sure he stays in qualifying and in terms of going through to the next session. And he does go faster. Now he's in P2 with a 110.2. So far so good for him. Let's have a look on what the rest of the grid are getting through with here right now. I think Dan Clement might be on a lap here as well. Let's have a look. Purple sector 2 for Clement so far as he gets around the sector 3. Back onto the pit straight here, and let's see if this is going to be a better lap than a 111.169. And let's see, he's about to go across the line here right now. Goes a bit faster, 111.007. Literally 6,000 of a second slower than what Devils just did earlier with this 111.001. That is how close we're getting with the lap times. Already in qualifying 2, getting so close. So as we said, guys, it's going to be interesting to see what qualifying 3 is going to be like with these guys here at Monaco, and having such close lap times are definitely going to be quite an interesting race, depending on how hard these guys are going to push through the first few laps, where that's how much of a chance we're going to have for a safety car or a VSC, and also depending on how good these guys are trying to drive side by side on this track or trying to get overtakes done without causing incidents. We're going to see how well that is going to go. Unfortunately, well, I know a few drivers might end up being out of the session, but it does tend to happen with a track like Monaco. But let's see how that's going to go. Jerry on his fast lap here right now. We'll see if he's able to make a good lap time in or not. We got Prasek with his 112, he improved too, and he's out on outlap right now trying to improve that time there as well. We got Jerry going 9th now, 111.217, so that's gonna hold him in there for now. I think someone just changed position now. I think that was probably Cuban, I'm not sure, but either way, we got just about 4.5 minutes left in qualifying 2 here right now, and quite a few drivers starting to get back on out laps. We got a few drivers out on the track at the moment. Gargamel here running through just at the exit of the tunnel section in sector 2, getting around. Let's see how his lap is going through right now. So far so good for the half driver. And gets a purple sector 2, so it's not too bad for him so far. And getting a bit of traffic out front here with Prazazek trying to get back into the pits here, I think. No, he's getting back around too. Alright, so 111.370. Let's see if he goes faster here. And does go much faster. 110.547. Puts him up into P3 with that. And that definitely should guarantee him a spot there in qualifying 3. So not a bad lap time at all from Gargamel in there. So puts himself up quite a few positions and gets all the way up into P3. Let's see how that's going to hold off for him. As track is starting to get a little bit busy here right now with these guys getting out. And from information I did receive from Dan Clement, guys, it seems that it's going to be, let me just confirm what he did said to a message in me about the weather conditions for this race. Why am I not finding this right now? Give me a second here, guys. Let me just get this up. Because from what he did say, it's going to be heavy rain on the race. I'm not sure if he was joking or not, but heavy rain at Monaco. I don't know how many drivers are going to enjoy that one. And that's going to put maybe a little bit of a damper on what you guys are going to be planning in terms of the fan with the competition for the fans about the amount of pit stops that are going to be happening in the race in total for all drivers. Yeah, it's gonna kind of affect the decision you guys have to make here. So it's gonna be heavy rain in the race. I guess you guys are gonna have to add that into your little calculations that you're doing in terms of how many pit stops we're gonna have. And then again, guys, remember, if it does become a wet race start, not if it's just raining in the race. If it's only definitely gonna be a wet race start, then these guys get a free choice of tires to start the race. Even the ones that make it into qualifying 3, they don't have to use the qualifying tires here. So if it's a full wet start or a partial wet start, whatever the case is, as long as they have to start on either the intermediate tires or the full wet tires for the race, or just for the race start on the grid for lap 1, then it's a free choice of tires, because they either have to go on the intermediates or the full wets, depending on how bad the rain is on track. And we'll probably talk a little bit about those tires as well. If we do have to start the race on them, we'll know about that as we get started in the race. And I'm quite sure we'll have a safety car at some point to discuss a few things about that in terms of race strategy there as well. I mean, they will last a bit longer, but it's just about how much water those tires can actually displace. That's how they're going to determine what tires to use in the race, depending on how bad it's going to be. So let's have a look on what's happening out on track here. So far so good. I think with the lap times we've been pretty competitive with them. We haven't seen anyone get into the 109s as yet. So not sure if we're going to have that happen on the final qualifying session, but we'll have a look. And that's an invalidated lap there from Hablet, so he's going to have to try that again. Let's see if Dan Clement is on another lap here right now. And oh, it looks like he is getting a bit bouncy into those walls. Let's see how that's going to work out for him. Okay, so end of qualifying 2 here right now. So just making sure we're sharing out this video, streaming just a little bit wrong. Just sharing it in my channel Discord there as well, just to make sure my other viewers can come and have a look and see what's happening on the league side here with EFRL races. So Pralsec, only driver on track here at the moment, and we're waiting for him to retire off so we can get on into qualifying 3 and just have a look at our final results for qualifying 2 here. So I think he's getting into the pits there right now, and then we should be able to just get a look at what the results are for qualifying 2 here and see what our top 10. I think we can see our top 10 there. That's going to be going over to qualifying 3 already, but I'll still be going through that in just a bit, so you guys can have a look at that. Alright, so there we have it. Qualifying 2 results. We got Carlos with the fastest lap in that session at 110.2, and we see all the top 10 drivers. It looks like everyone did their lap on fastest lap on soft tires there as well. Dominic there with a 110.270. Literally 200 per second difference between these two guys here. So he took second fastest lap here. Cuban went third fastest in the session at 110.393. We have Havlis in 4th, Gargamel in 5th, Devils there 6th, Jerry in 7th, Beachy Cactus in 8th, Clement there 9th, and Debbie Zag there in 10th. So that's going to be our top 10 drivers going over to qualifying 3. Starting on the grid in 11 is going to be Prozatec. We got Groot there in 12th, Blescon 13th, and Paulie there 14th. Jurek is going to be in 15th. So that's how the grid is going to line up for that 11 to 15 position. We're going to head over into qualifying 3 now. I think it's going to be a wet start as well, which is why everyone chose to do their qualifying laps here on the soft tires to get on through to qualifying 3, because once they know it's going to be a wet start, that's what they're going to end up doing, because they don't have to worry about tires in terms of the start of the race. So let's get on straight into qualifying 3 here right now, where it's just going to be about making the fastest possible time to get the best possible start here for the Monaco Grand Prix for EFRL. So getting started right now with our 12 minutes for qualifying 3. I think that's going to be getting started in just a bit. I see it says lap 1 of, oh, there we go. So it now switches on. So qualifying 3 officially started. 12 minutes starting to count down, and we're going to have these 10 cars start to get out on track very, very soon, because it is a limited amount of time that they have, and everyone's going to be on the soft tires for the qualifying session there, obviously, as they start to get on through. Let's see. We're starting to see, oh, there we go. We start to see some cars starting to get out on track here right now. And that is an Alfa getting out first there, an Alfa Romeo. And that is Alfa Romeo of BG Cactus getting out first here. So he's going to be the first guy to get out on track, try to get a lap time in. So he's going to be on his out lap here right now as he starts to go around the track. Okay, so we got everybody on an out lap here right now, and about to get started is BG Cactus. He's going to be the first car I think to get started on the hot lap as he gets started there right now. So we expect to see some lap times in just about a minute's time around here on this track. So just 10 minutes left in qualifying already. We started with a 12-minute session, so just take some time for these guys to get out on their out laps, get around the track, and get started with a hot lap. And there's going to be at least 2, maybe 3 full hot laps they're going to be able to do throughout the session. That's depending on how fast they get to move on with it, and I will see how that works out. But it's all going to be about getting the fastest lap time in here for a provisional pole start, or at least trying to start second or third or on the grid. Well, we'll see how that works out at first or second row. They're going to try and get the best possible start just to get a good run, get into turn one, and get away from all the chaos that's going to happen in the midfield of the grid. And we'll see how bad that's going to get, though, because we seem to have a group of pretty good drivers here, as we usually do in these leagues. So, I think everyone should get away pretty well. We're definitely going to have some minor contact between quite a few cars, though. We're going to have some damaged front wings, some damaged cars. So we'll see how it goes in terms of that, though. But they're going to have to be a bit careful in terms of their cars and just getting through the first few laps. So far we got VG Cactus here at 110.1 there. Okay, so quite a few more times came, and let's have a look at that here right now. So Dominic currently on provisional pole with a 110.106. BG Cactus is second now with a 110.110. That's about 100th of a second time difference. Havel is currently P3 with a 110.171. Then we got, that's another 600th of a second time difference. We got Cuban in P4, 110.399. We got Jerry there, P5, 110.4. We got Devils, 110.7. We got Carlos with a 110.8. Then we go into 111s now. So we got Debizak in 8th with a 111.060. And then we got Clement there in 9th with a 111.065. 5,000th of a second time difference between the two of them, and Gargamel there in 10th with a 114.5. So even in 10th, not too bad of a place to be starting this race, but it's going to be a little more interesting to see the second rung of laps around here, how close these guys are going to get in terms of just getting with the competitive lap times in, as we got majority of them getting back into the pits here right now, and we're just waiting for when they're going to get out on track to do their next round of lap times here along this track to see how much more competitive they're going to get. We got a lot of 110s. I got 7 110s here and 2 111s and 1 114 so far in this session, and those 110s are just about 8 tenths within each other, so not too bad for a top 8 so far in terms of qualifying time. But I'm quite sure we're going to get that change of just bit. We're getting so close to getting into those 109s right now, with Dominic there being in a 110.1. He's literally just about a tenth away from getting into the 109. So we got cars starting to get back out on track here already. I think that's probably BG Cactus. Let's have a look. Definitely he is. He's getting back out on track already to try and get a second hot lap in. So he's going to be on another out lap here at the moment. And quite sure he's on a fresh set of tires and getting on with the session here right now, getting through. So let's have him go through on his out lap, and we'll see where he goes in terms of his lap time on this account here, if he's going to get into the 109s or maybe just get about half a tenth faster even, but definitely looking to get up position more if he can here to get onto a provisional pole start, because I think that's going to be the most important thing for them to fight for in this qualifying session as it is right now, just to get a best possible start to get off into turn one. Not too far of a run, but getting past turn one first is going to be a bit important in terms of these guys getting away pretty well, and they're going to have to try and hold that lead as much as they can, and of course because it's just going to be so difficult to get overtakes done on this track. So we'll see how that works out for them. So far so good in terms of qualifying, though, with getting through qualifying 1, qualifying 2. It was very competitive with the lap times that we had by the end of each of those 2 sessions, especially even qualifying 2. And as we said, guys, it's going to be a wet race here at Monaco, so going to be a bit interesting to see how that's going to go through. But let's get through with the next 5.5 minutes that's left in this qualifying 3 session, and then we're going to have a look at that. So we already got BG Cactus back on the next hot lap here, sorry. And let's see if he's going to improve on his time from 110.110. And yeah, let's see if that's going to get any better for him, if he's going to be able to beat Dominic's time there, who currently is at 110.106. And he's on a hot lap now as well, getting back on track. So he's trying to make a faster time if he can here at the moment. Alright, so we got him in sector 3. He's about to finish his lap very shortly. Seems to be flying through the track and hasn't invalidated the lap so far. So far so good for BG Cactus here. Okay, sorry, but I had to step away for just a second. So BG Cactus does goes faster. He goes 110.044 and just about half of a tenth actually faster than what Dominic did. So actually still pretty close. That's about 500 of a second faster, I'll call that. And yeah, so still a pretty good lap time. Dominic went back into the pits. I guess he did not have a good lap there. He might be able to get out and get one more lap in if he gets a rush on that there. Right now we're just about 3.5 minutes left in qualifying here right now, and let's see what's changing up with the lap times at the moment. Gargamel just finished a lap there as well, 110.457 so far, and Carlos down into 8th. Let's have a look. He's on a hot lap here right now. So quite a competitive grid here for EFRL for this round of the championship that they have going on here. So let's see what's going to happen by the time we get to the end of qualifying here. What our starting grid is going to look like for the top 10. I don't know if you guys have any predictions on this, but so far it's BG Cactus on a provisional pole start there for the Monaco Grand Prix. Oh, and that's not going too off too well. So Carlos not having the best of laps there at the moment. Clement here on an out lap going through. I think we got Dominic on another out lap here as well. Oh, and there we have it, guys. Havlis now goes fastest in the session at 109.842. We've been waiting to see a 109, and we finally have one getting off of Havlis there. So great job on his end for getting that qualifying time in, especially on a track such as this one here. And with the race as it's going to be wet, I think these guys are quite in a rush to get the best possible race start, because it's going to be quite important for them in terms of that. And might be a bit of a difficult race as well with the conditions that are going to be on track. So Havlis there, 109.842, gets on provisional pole with that. BG Cactus down to second, already on another out lap. He's going to try one more lap around here. Dominic on an out lap right now, trying to get started with his lap. Cuban, I think, is on a hot lap going through. He's currently P4. I think he just finished that lap. Let's have a look here right now. Might have just finished that lap there. So on with Devils here, who is about to finish a lap here. I think right now 110.756, goes about a tenth faster, but doesn't improve his position on that one there, unfortunately. Let's have a look at Dominic here right now as he's starting another hot lap, and let's see where he's going to be going. Of course, we got Clemens starting a lap there as well. Let's have a look where he is. He's currently 10th on the grid, but a 111.065, about 5 tenths of a second slower than what Debbie's acting there at 9. So let's see how that's going to work out for him. So only 2 cars in the 111s right now, and that's very low 111s as well. Majority of the grid on the 110s, and 1 driver into the 109s. That's a bit of a high 109, but still getting into the 109 is quite impressive. And I think it's just overall quite impressive with the entire grid right now with the lap times that we have in here. Very, very competitive with the top 10. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see what the start if the race is going to be like, especially if you're starting full wets on the race. We'll see how that goes though. How heavy the race is going to be here, I'm not sure as yet. But we'll see how that works out for these drivers here. And that is Clement going across the line. Goes up into P4 right now, 110.240. And I'm not sure if he's going to go for another lap on these tires here or not. But I don't think he will. I think that might be it for him there in terms of his qualifying. And Carlos already retiring off of the session there right now. So taking his 110.8. And I think quite a few drivers already finished with their laps here at the moment. I'm not sure if anyone else is still running. We see Dominic has taken back provisional pole with a 109.1, 7 tenths faster than what Havlis did. That's quite an impressive lap time for him there. And I think that's it for Havlis and VG Cactus, as well as Dan Clement. So I think that might be it for qualifying for most of our drivers here. Where is Gargaman on track right now? He's going through the tunnel section. Not sure if he's on a hot lap here or not. Doesn't seem like he is, but let's have him finish that lap either way. Either way, the timer is up for qualifying 3 guys for entire qualifying session in total, and we're gonna have a look at what our top 10 starting grid is gonna be looking like here, and then we're gonna get straight into the race session. So far it looks like Dominic is going to be starting on pole there with Hapless in second, but let's just wait on the final results to have a look at that, as that's going to be coming up pretty soon here right now, because I think all drivers are across the line except for Dominic there. I think he's in the pits just getting his car into the garage, and then we're going to get on to the results and to our race session. Okay, so here is our qualifying results and what our starting grid is going to look like for the top 10 for the Monaco Grand Prix for EFRL for round 7 here. Dominic is going to be starting on pole. Havlis starting in second there on the front row with him. We got BG Cactus starting in third. Dan Clement is going to start fourth. And then we got Cuban starting fifth. Jerry is going to start sixth. Gargamel starts seventh. We got Devil starting 8th, Carlos starts 9th, and Debbie Zach is going to start there in 10th. And our lap times, fastest lap time was a 109.1, with second having a 109.8. 2 109s, majority 110s, and a 111. So very, very close and interesting lap times that we had. We're going to see how this race start is going to work out for the guys and how heavy the rain is going to be in the session here. Okay, so they are getting started with their formation lap there right now. As we can see, it is going to be a full wet start. The rain is down pretty hard here right now at Monaco, and this is going to make for quite an interesting race. I can't remember if I've ever done a stream with a full wet Monaco race, especially with the start. I've done, I think, some wet races, but I'm not sure if it's been wet for all the way from the start going on through. And we can see the car sliding around just a little bit there already, having some difficulty getting along the track as it is, because there's going to be a racing line start to form up once they start the race, but right now it's going to be a bit difficult as they get started on the opening lap. So we'll see how that works out, as a few drivers have been disqualified from the formation lap there already. They're going to get back in their race last either way as we get started with the race. So we're going to have everyone get along the track, and then they're going to try and get everything a bit up to temperature as much as they can. Now they have to start on the full wet tires here, guys, because with the track as it is, but it's going to be a bit dry in the tunnel section. That's going to affect things just a little bit. They have to be a bit careful getting through that. So they have to start on the full wet tires because it's raining very hard, which means they need the tires to displace a lot more water than would have happened if it was on with lighter rain. Because if the rain was much lighter and not so much water on track to displace, then they could have used the intermediate tires, where the treads are a bit thinner, I think, there on that, because on the you can see quite a good graphic of that, how much water is actually running on track there. This looks to be very, very dangerous for a race here on a track like this, with it being this wet here, guys. Honestly, I'm telling you right now, because as you can see, the car sliding all the way around the track. It's gonna be quite a difficult race here, I can tell you right now, with the way conditions are on track. We're going to expect a lot of unseen incidents that are going to happen, as we have everyone just about to get reform back on the grid here right now so we can get started with the Monaco Grand Prix. So guys, it's round 7 of 22, we mentioned it before, and it's going to be quite interesting to see how this works out. So let's have everyone reform back on the grid and we're going to get started. We're going to keep position changes on, and we are off right now. Let's see who gets a better run going down into turn 1. And it's a very difficult start, very difficult with the field of view that you're going to have there as well. Let's see how everyone gets through the first turn. We have some contact, I think, happening already between a few cars as everyone is trying to get through as well as they can there right now. As we're in the midfield having a look at what's happening. Cars are very close together as everyone goes on through. We can see what's happening out front. It looks like if you have that right, it looks like Clement has gained a few positions all the way up into P1 already. I'm not sure if that graphic is right or not. No, that's actually, it's not. Sorry guys, our leaderboard is a bit mixed up on that one there. And so far, no safety car, no VSCs. Everyone seems to be going through pretty well. To GG left down in the back of the grid there, you might have a bit of a difficult start as we can watch everyone get through this roundabout here in the section of the track. And going pretty well. So far, we got a very yellow flag situation going on there as well. Out front, we got Dominic still leading this race there with Havlis in second. And BG got Cactus running still in third. We got Cuban running a position up, Jerry running a position up. Clement is down 2 positions actually there. And Gargamel is right there in 7th where he started. We can see the rest of the grid in terms of how many positions was lost or gained at the start of this race as they continue to race on. Now we have a virtual safety car for, I guess, some of the minor incidents that happened from the start. And we can see carbon fiber flying all around the track there right now as cars are losing their front wings and going on through. So I think the virtual safety car is just because of the amount of debris that we have on track. The launchers are going to have to get that cleared off on track as soon as possible so we can get back racing here. That VSC is going to be over pretty shortly, and we're just waiting for that to happen there right now so we can get back to racing here right now. So as it stands, everyone's going to stay in position as they are. We're getting into lap 2 here right now of 39, that is, getting through this. So it's just over a minute per lap around this track. I guess about a minute 15, minute 20 seconds maybe right now or more. With the rain, it's going to be a little more longer per lap time and extend our race time just a little bit more here as well. That tends to happen when it's a rain because they are going to be running a little bit slower laps than we expect. So going down to just about further a bit down into the field. So Dominic leads out front by 2.2 seconds against Havlis there in second place. BG Cactus running another 2.2 seconds behind Havlis, and Cuban is right up to the rear of BG Cactus here. So he's looking to get by, of course. As we said during qualifying, guys, it's very difficult to get an overtake done here at Monaco, and much more in the wet. So we're going to see how the guys get through on that account. But we're following on right now with Cuban here in P4. He's chasing down BG Cactus P3, trying to get onto that podium place if he can. And we're going to see some penalties handed out here as well. As we can see an onboard view from Cuban's car, what his view side is currently like here right now. It's very difficult to see the car in front of you, especially with the amount of spray coming off that car there right now. Which is why they have that ERS light, that red blinking light at the back of the car. And they did add 2 more lights to the car from the 2020 season. As you can see from the back of the rear wing of the car, if you can have a look at both ends, there are 2 small red lights there as well as that big one at the back on the diffuser there of the car. So it does help when it's raining this much on track for drivers to see the car in front of them when that light is blinking. Of course, that blinking red light means that the car is recharging its ERS and it's going to be a much slower as well. So just a bit of information just in case you guys are wondering why that light is actually blinking behind the car so much. And yeah, so as you can see, we have a full safety car right now for some sort of incident. I'm not sure what the incident is as yet, as no one is out of the race, but we might have had a major incident just about a few seconds ago, probably on track. But a bit difficult to follow sometimes with what this incident might end up being. We got quite a few drivers into the pits right now, so you guys who are counting pit stops or who have to count pit stops, I guess you're going to have to keep track of that graphic on screen that says pit there on the leaderboard, and just to know how many cars are into the pits. And we got Christoph retiring off of the session. I think that he might have been involved in that incident, whatever that caused that safety car there. So He's retired off of the session. Let's get tires on here and see what we're at. So we're at full wet tires running here right now. And penalties is a drive-through penalty for Devisak there. I think he got that from the start of the race. So he has 3 laps to do that drive-through penalty. Of course, he's going to have to wait until the safety car is over before he's able to do that. So other than penalties, I don't think we're going to leave tire graphic on the screen. Because remember, it is a full wet race. So we know they're running on the full wet tires. If the rain starts to ease up, then we might see some cars try to go onto the intermediate tires to get a bit faster on track, but we'll see how that works out, because for right now everyone's gonna have to run on these full-on wet tires, and I think it's a wet race all the way through, so we'll see how it goes through. We're only on lap 3 right now going through. We're still under the safety car as we continue to race on through. We're getting into lap 4 right now, sorry. So we're going to continue on with that. And we have Havlis, who caught up back to Dominic there, who's in the lead of the race. Right where he started there. And BG Cactus started right there, P3 as well. They're all still chasing down each other. Cuban now 1.4 seconds behind BG Cactus. Of course, we're still on the safety car, so still a bit of time for him to catch up. And they're going to keep very, very close to each other as we get back started with the race. And that's going to be happening in just a bit here. I'm quite sure it's still very, very dangerous on track with the conditions that we have there right now, especially on a track like Monaco. It's not easy having a full wet race go on through on a track like this. So these guys are going to have to be very careful to avoid any sort of incident on track. And that is a 5-second penalty for collision between Blescant and someone else there on track. And that probably was with Groot, I guess, because he probably went into the back of Groot's car. And both of them have a penalty there actually as well. We know Devisak has that drive-through penalty, so let's see how the rest of the grid will stack up with that. So one driver out of this race so far. We're on lap 4 running under our first official safety car in the race. We've already had a VSC from the race start there. And let's see how the rest of the race is going to continue on through, because we know it's going to be a bit difficult even to try and get overtakes done. I'm not sure how many more safety cars or VSCs we're going to have in this race, but there was a lot of carbon fiber flapping wrong in the first few laps, which did cause the safety car and the VSC there. So let's see how the rest of the race progresses on through, because currently we're still waiting for the safety car to go in, which it might do on lap 5 there. I assume probably on the end of lap 5 it's going to go in and we're going to get back racing. Or I don't know if that safety car is going to stay out, maybe a little bit more due to the condition on track, how bad it is right now and how wet it's actually getting out there, which is we're not going to see the full intensity of the rain right now if you get on board with a car. This is from Havlis's view as we get on front to Dominic here. So if you don't have a car in front of you, it's a much more easier to see where you're going. So Dominic has the best field of view when driving in this race, as you can see. These guys get just a bit up to speed there, and it's already getting difficult for them to see. So that's what it's like when it's full wet rain going on track. So we're gonna have the racing line start to form up just a little bit there as well, as we can see from when we have an overhead view. We'll have a look at that. You're gonna see the racing line start to dry the track up just on a certain part, so it's gonna get faster on that line of the track if the guys do tend to keep to it. Hopefully we can see it here. I'm not sure if we're able to see it as yet. I guess maybe we need a few more laps before it actually does start to get to that point there. I don't know if we can get on board and maybe have a look here right now. Actually, no, we're not seeing. Yeah, we can see it a little bit there. If you guys have a look, you can see there's a bit of a dry line on the track. It's a bit difficult to see as well. We're definitely not going to see that in the tunnel section here. And we're still having more 5-second penalties being handed out there, as we can see right now. So yeah, there is a bit of a line on the track right now for the racing line. It's very difficult if you guys can't see it at the moment. We just look at the line that the car in front is driving on. It is that exact line. It is a bit dry when we do have a bit of field of view to have a look at that here. You have to see. And there we have it. Safety car is going to be in on this lap. So we're about to get back racing here right now. And there we have it. You can see the line there now. It's showing quite clearly now. So that's like the best possible line to drive with on track, as you're going to have a little more grip there as well, as it's just a little bit less water on track to where the tires to displace, so they'll have a lot more grip going through, and we'll see how that works, because we're about to get back started with this race here right now, and some more penalties still happening in the middle of the grid there right now. So let's see how these guys are about to get away, as we're about to get back started here in this race right now. And I think the middle field of the grid is trying to get a rush on with it, so that's why they're actually getting into the back of each other and having incidents happen there. So everyone seems to be getting getting through pretty well here. So far so good. with the entire grid getting away. Back after that restart, we got a bit of a battle going on here between Groot and I think that's who is that there? Carlos and Blescon there in 9th and 10th. So they've fallen back down the order just a bit. We're having a look on how that's progressing on through. Out front, Dominic is leading by 1.1 second with Havlis, another 1.2 second in front of BG Cactus. Cuban running half a second behind BG Cactus there. So we're going to have a look at that battle as well in second to see how that's going on. And so far we're following on with Carlos here. He's trying to chase down Blescon for that position as well. And let's have a look out front with Cuban here chasing down BG Cactus right now. BG Cactus has gotten under a second behind Havlis. Of course, there's going to be no DRS available in this race here right now because of the conditions on track. They're going to have to rely just on their race pace and just their ERF to use a bit of overtake, but that's not going to be so much powerful as it would be in a dry race. So they're going to have to be a bit careful about how they attempt to overtake here, because not too much of an advantage to gain off of ERS or DRS here, because no DRS and very limited use of the ERS in terms of the amount of power that's expended off of it on a wet race. So let's keep an eye on these guys here and see how well Cuban is getting along with chasing down BG Cactus. As you can see, we got another safety car here right now, where something's happened under the in their last half a lap there. And we have a few more pit stops happening because of that safety car there right now. So quite a lot of damage on a few cars, I'm assuming there, which was what is happening. So there's going to be a lot of safety cars on VSCs in this race. We can already tell that's going to happen. We're already on lap 7 as we continue on through right now, with conditions being very, very difficult on track. I'm not sure if this race should be stopped or not, but it seems to be very difficult conditions on track here right now, as these guys are running in front of the safety car. So I guess they have to get back around, I'm assuming. I'm not even sure, but they're going to continue on through right now and see what's happening. I don't know why the safety car is in the middle of the grid and running. Oh guys, so sorry, let's get on back to that. So still under the safety car as we're continuing on through on lap 8 right now as we're going on. We got some we got a fan of Havlis there, so Havlis running in second, so he's doing pretty well actually out front there, as we can follow on with his car and see what's happening with him. So he's doing pretty well running in second in this race right where he started there. So let's see how he's going to continue on with strategy, and if he's going to be able to finish right there on the podium, or if he's going to be able to get by Dominic, I'm not sure. That's kind of going to be dependent upon penalties most likely here as the race is going on through right now. But yeah, second safety car of the race so far, guys, and we do expect kind of this to happen with the conditions as it is on track. Because as we said, it's very, very difficult for these guys to see where they're going actually with the amount of spray coming off the car in front of them. And they're only running on the safety car, running about 40% less speed. And this is the view that we have here right now from Hapless's car. And yeah, we can see what it's like right now. So very difficult to maneuver through this track. You really got to know your way around here. To avoid the barriers and avoid cutting the track and getting penalties and whatnot. So very, very difficult of a race that these guys are having here right now. You got to give it to them. To still have 19 drivers in this session so far, it's quite interesting to even see that. Even though it's just lap 9, we can see how much water is being sprayed off that front tire on the left side there for this car. As we get onto the track, and we're not even driving that fast here right now. This is not even racing speed we're at here. And it's a lot of water being sprayed off. As we can see, it's not anything happening in the tunnel section of the track. So I'm not sure how much the tire grip changes when they get through that dry portion of the track. But these tires are not made to be driven in the dry, but just a very small portion. So I really don't think it affects anything much in terms of that. I've never actually tested that out to pay attention to it. What a full wet race is like at Monaco and what the tires feel like as you get through the tunnel section. I'll have to have a look at that at the end of this race in terms of just to experience that and see what it's like and what exactly it feels like from a driver's perspective to actually get through the tunnel section on the dry portion of the track there where it's wet on everything else when it's a full wet race. So I'll have to have a look at that, see how it's going to be. But right now, this is what we call torrential rain coming down on the track. It's very, very wet here right now and very difficult for these guys to see where they're going. And we're getting into we're into lap 10 here right now. So we're going to be having the safety car go in on this lap, I assume, here. And we're going to get back racing into lap 11. We still got quite a way more to go in this race here right now. Got about 29 laps more or so to go. So so still quite a way more to go. That's still over about 30-35 minutes or so of racing time left in the session here, guys, if you're wondering like how long more this race is going to last. But yeah, it's going to be a little bit while more with they're having to drive just a bit slower just because of the conditions on track. And then we're going to be having these VSDs and safety cars probably happening maybe 1 or 2 times more. We'll see how that goes though. With the rest of the grid, but incidents are a little bit hard to avoid on a race like this. It's very difficult for that, and we got Bless Contier in the pits at the moment, getting back out there right now, I think. Yep, and he's out on track back already. Alright guys, so there we have it. The safety car is going to be in on this lap, which is good to see, which means that we're going to get back racing at the end of this lap here and into lap 11. So it's going to be good news for us as we're going to have a look and see how the rest of the session is going to progress on through here. Well, of course, we know it's still going to be a bit of a difficult section of the track to maneuver through. Well, most of the track, I would say, with the way the conditions on track are right now, and it's nowhere near dry enough to use any other set of tires. Actually, it seems to be drying off a little bit here right now. Not be really drying off. It seems to be easing off in terms of the rain, and we're back racing again. So let's have a look on board with BG Cactus here right now, where the rain seems to be easing off, which means we're going to start to see these guys maybe switch on to the intermediate tires a little bit further on into the race. We're going to have to wait for the track to dry off just a little bit. So we're going to put tires on here right now to see if anybody starts to do a pit stop. Oh, and we do have Carlos on the intermediate tires. I wonder how that's actually working out for him. We're going to switch down to the back of the grid there right now, so have a look at that. And let's see how those intermediates are working out for him right now. We're getting on board with Carlos here at the moment. Let's see how his intermediate tires are making it through, because I'm not sure if the track is ready as yet for the intermediates, but it might be. It just kind of depends on the feel of the drivers here right now and how much grip they're having on those tires or not. So let's see if he's getting through pretty well on the intermediates at the moment here. He seems to be doing pretty well. I think he's looking to get an overtake down here on Tojiji. And definitely so, as he bumps tires with him just a little bit to let him know he's there. I think the intermediate is going to be a bit faster down through the tunnel section. So he seems to be a bit faster on those tires as he gets a position up, gets an overtake done. And we got Prasek trying to get past OGG there as well. Oh, and that's the two of them getting into a bit of contact down at the back. And Prasek falls down a few positions and he's out of the race there right now. So his car is, I think he went into the wall maybe a little bit. I'm not sure if he had contact with someone else down the back behind him after he had that first contact. But that's going to be another safety car for that session with the incident with Prasek down in the back of the grid. And let's see if we're going to have a few more pit stops going on to intermediates, and which we do. We got Dan Clement going on to the intermediates. I think, no, not him. Sorry, not him. We have a few more drivers, Carlos Gargamel and Jurek, going on to the intermediate tires here right now. So track is starting to dry off a little bit, and it looks like it's enough drying off for these cars to go onto the intermediate tires right now as they're getting back out on track. So quite a few drivers are actually doing that here right now. Let's see how that's going to work out for them. Well, so far so good, because we got Patrick there. Hey Patrick, how are you doing? Saying 39 lap for the race, 38 lap safety car. And yeah, that might be the situation, because we started off this race getting into a virtual safety car first, then getting to our first and second safety car. Now it's another one again. I think this is our third safety car. I've already lost count of how many safety cars we've had in the race already. I think this is our third one. But we gotta kind of expect it on this account of the conditions that the guys have to deal with on this track here right now. I mean, I personally have a hard enough time driving around Monaco on a dry track, more so on a wet track, which I can't remember how many times I've ever tried it. But it's not a lot of fun, I can tell you that right now. It definitely is not a lot of fun getting through Monaco on a wet track. You gotta have a really good setup for this, and you gotta be so careful to avoid putting that car into the barriers and taking it out of the race there. So we have our race leaders now. He's going to get back out on track. BG Cactus leaded the race. I don't think he pitted, and does have a penalty as well to work with to go to the end of the race. Well, let's see how that works out for him. And looks like Dominic is coming back out and might be back out in second. Let's see how that works out here right now. So BG Cactus did not pit. He's still on the wet tires going under the safety car, and he's now taking over the lead of the race, which I'm not sure how well that's going to work out for him, unless he's able to keep cars behind of him for the rest of the race. We'll see how that works out. But yeah, this race is gonna be about half of the race under a safety car and half of the race. But if it's starting to dry out on track, then I think that situation might actually change your Patrick. But let's see how that works out, because if it starts to dry out, then these guys will have a much better advantage of actually getting to race on this track for quite a few laps before even any safety car will have to show up on track here. So far, Groot seems to have gone back onto the wet tires. He didn't change onto intermediates. So only two drivers right now running on the wet tires still. And that's only one of them did a pit stop and went back to the wets. Everyone else have done a pit stop and have gone on to the intermediate tires, because the track is starting to dry out just that much. Let's have a look on board with BG Cactus right now to see. We're still under the safety car, so we're not under racing speed at the moment. So we're not going to be able to see if he's having a difficult time with those tires or not. But if he is, he's going to have to try just go in for a pit stop. He has a gap of about 14 seconds to work with. And looks like he's going in for the pit stop right now. Let's see where he's going to get back out on track when he does decide to get back out, because he did not pit on the previous lap for the where the safety car started. He decided to do a lap and lead the race at least for one lap before getting into the pits, and he's serving a 5-second penalty that's going to cost him some time here right now, as the rest of the grid is getting on through and getting by, and he's now going on to the intermediate tires. And looks like they're changing their front wing, I'm not sure. Anyway, he's getting back out on track right now, and he's going to be back out a little further down the field here right now, more than he would like. It looks like he's coming out in P8 here right now. Actually P9. So he's back out on track, and he's going to be behind Jurek there and continue on through on the safety car. So we're going to get on in front with Hapless here. And we got Dominic leading the race here, back here right now. So he's back leading the race. We got Hapless back in second, Jerry back in third, and Carlos now in fifth, Cuban in fifth, Devils in sixth, Gargaman in seventh, Jurek 8, and BG Cactus out in 9. And then we got Clement there 10, we got Debbie Zach in 11, Eska 12, Paulie 13, to GG there 14, Blescon 15, Cap in 16 right now, HR 12 running 17, and Groot currently running in 18 as it is right now. Prasek and Christoph out of this race, unfortunately for them. But we're going to continue on through. Actually, I'll be very honest with you, it's quite surprising to still see 18 drivers in this session. And we've had 3 safety cars and 1 VSC in the race so far, and still have 18 drivers in the session. You would expect probably would have less than 15 drivers in the session at this point in the race with the conditions as they were from the start, but it's not the case. So still a good point to see so many drivers still into the race and going on through, and they're still carrying on through here right now. And Groot is trying to catch back up to the safety car queue with a few other drivers down in the back here as well. We're in lap 14 right now. We're about to enter into lap 15, and I really didn't pay attention to see if the safety car is coming in on this lap or not, but it doesn't look to be that way because we're still running under the safety car. He's still out on track. Onto pit straight he goes, which means we're going to still go one more lap under the safety car. That's going to be lap 15 here. It's going to have to be run under the safety car as well, and then we're going to have that safety car going, I assume, on this lap here, and it seems to be getting quite much dry on track. I wonder if it's going to dry out enough for us to go onto the dry tire compounds before we get to the end of the race. We'll see how that goes, because that's going to be quite a bit of a change of strategy again for the drivers to go through, because they already had to maneuver through and figure out when to go onto the intermediate tires here, and was lucky enough to have a safety car to do that pit stops under and get onto the intermediate. So let's see how good of a chance it's going to be for them to get onto the dry tires and have a bit of a little more fast racing down to the end of the session. We'll see how that goes, but it does seem to be drying out pretty well, so which means we might end up going onto the dry tires a little bit sooner than expected. It's still some light drizzle on track here right now, but I don't think that's affecting these intermediate tires. I think it's a perfect condition for them. So we'll see how the grid gets on through with this here right now. I think we should be getting back into the pits at the end of this lap. So let's get on the overhead camera. We're going to have a look to see if the safety car is going to go in on this lap here or not as we get on through. We're about to go into sector 3 pretty soon. I think it's about 2 turns more to go before the safety car gets to that point there. That's right around the point where Prasek went off on track and into the barriers there, and he that's what caused this safety car. So there we have it. Safety car is going to be in on this lap, and that's OGG with a 5-second penalty for severe collision with Eska down there at the back. So you have to be careful about that. Alright, so let's keep our eyes on these guys as they're about to get restarted here on the grid. Safety car is already getting back into the pits there right now for us to get restarted back with this race. Okay, so there we go, and what is happening here? We got a bit of a slow start going on. Nope, sorry, not a bit of a slow start. Dominic still leads the race. I probably forgot that I will switch on a bit. But Jerry gets up into second place here, and Havlis now down into third. He's chasing after Jerry, and we got some cars running a bit faster on track right now. It's starting to dry up, and that's Devizak was disqualified from the session. I'm not sure why he was disqualified as yet, but was disqualified from the session, probably for too many penalties. I don't think there's too many penalties, unless he really did have so many penalties, because you usually get disqualified from the session for the amount of penalties you have, or being parked in a very wrong location of the track. So either way, he's disqualified from the race. That's 3 drivers out now to GG. Going to be the last driver down the back in 17. He's in the pits there at the moment, and let's see how this continues on through, because we're currently following on with Carlos here now as he's chasing down Havlis for P3, and let's see if that battle is going to get anywhere for him there or not. Behind him we can see Cuban, Devils and Gargamel and all coming down and chasing after each other, and gap is pretty close between most of them here, so as we can have a pretty good look on the overhead cam here to see Devils coming just there in 6th behind Cuban. He's chasing him down for that position, and Cuban is a bit focused on getting to the racing point in front of him there as well, and that racing point of Carlos is trying to catch up to Havlis. So a bit of a train of cars going through the track here right now, all the way to P1 up front, where the gap is really not too far off, only between Havlis and Jerry there. So for a second, just a little bit, we might be ending up going on to a if the rain does fully stop and the track dries out a little more, we might end up having going on to the dry tires down to the end of the race, and we're going to see a bit of more fast racing on track here, but we'll see how that works out if the race does get to that point. But what's quite interesting with a heavy wet start on the race. Gap up front is now half a second between race leader Dominic and Jerry there, who's running in second, and Jerry's having pretty good lap times and pretty good sector times as we're getting through here right now. So we're still following on down in the midfield here. We're getting close off to the midfield actually with Cuban there, and we still got Carlos in front of him, and Devils behind, and now we got Gargaman who caught up to Devils there for a P6 he's fighting for at the moment. So far so good. We got quite a close gap between most of our drivers, as we can see here right now. We're going to switch on over to Jerry here in P2 as he's chasing down the race leader, who is just under a second as well as the gap, and he's going to try and keep that fight alive as we continue to race on through here right now. And remember guys, it's still going to be, oh, Dominic takes a penalty there right now. So that's going to affect his race position just a bit as we get to the end here. So it's, as you said, it's still going to be a bit difficult to overtake on this track because it is still raining on track a little bit, and it's still wet, so it still needs intermediate tires. And just overall generally, it's all difficult of a race on a track like this. But let's get on board right now with Jerry, see what the vision sight is like, and it's not too bad at this point in the race here right now. But still, an overtake is going to be quite a difficult one to achieve without actually damaging your car or getting a penalty. As we can see, Hablis has a penalty, Dominic has a penalty. We'll have a look at what penalties are in just a bit here as well. We're starting to get to the halfway point of this race here right now, as hopefully we can avoid any more safety cars or VSTs, and hopefully, just because I didn't say it, hopefully because I didn't say that we don't have one actually. So let's continue on through where the battles are going on here. We're going back down to Cuban in the tunnel section, chasing after Carlos, and Devils right up to the rear of his car there as well. So a bit of a three-way battle going on for P4 here right now. We're following on through with that. Out front we can see Jerry getting extremely close to Dominic there for the lead of the race, and not sure if he's going to be able to get that position up or not. Let's have a look back at that. I think that kind of got away from him just a bit there through sector 3, as Dominic is trying to keep a bit of a gap between them if he can here right now, and very difficult to actually get that done. So let's see down the pit straight if Jerry is able to get a good run on Dominic and maybe take it on the inside up into turn 1, but doesn't look like he might here, as he's still a bit far off behind. Even though that's just about 0.4 of a second. So we got a switch happening. What happened to Carlos down in the back here? He's lost positions, I think, here. He's down to 6 right now. Devils has gotten by and gotten up into 5th position, so he's trying to get that position back if he can here right now, but having a very difficult time keeping up with the Red Bull out in front. Good there, getting fastest lap, and he's all the way down in 13th right now, so doing pretty well. Oh, and we got an Renault into the wall there, trying to go back side by side with BG Cactus there. So that was Jurek into the wall a little bit. Definitely took some damage on that car. Lost an end plate on the right side, if you can have a look there right now. So he's going to have a bit of difficulty maneuvering some of these turns on track with the amount of speed that he used to do it on the previous laps here now. Out front we got BG Cactus trying to get by Carlos here for P6 here right now. Let's see if he's able to get that position up or not. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to get it up as yet. As we got Clement coming in 90, he's going to try to get past Jurek there for that position. Let's have a look and see if this is going to be an inside move, and it is, as they go side by side through that second of track. Very dangerous to get actually done, and both of them get through pretty well. BG Cactus gets up into 6th position against Carlos, puts him down to 7, and gets that overtake done without any possible contact from what I saw, and without even taking a penalty on that. Neither of them took a penalty there. And we got Jurek having some difficulty down in the back here. We got a virtual safety car here right now. Something's happened down in the back of the track, back of the grid there right now, and I'm not sure exactly what it is. We got Paulie into the pits at the moment. So another virtual safety car, a second one in this race so far, and we were just starting to get a bit interesting with the battles going on track there. So no driver out of the race so far under that VSC, which is going to be over pretty shortly. Oh, and Carlos was disconnected from his car. He's joined on back there now, and he's going to get back going. And VSC is over, and we got Jurek and Carlos trying to go side by side. And looks like Jurek takes over 2nd place there right now, trying to keep Carlos down there in 8th. And doing pretty well a job of that so far. So let's see if that's going to continue on between these two of them at the moment. They're going on in front to Jerry here, chasing down our race leader Dominic for the lead of the race here right now. Oh, and our race leader spins around. Now he's having some trouble. He's going to have to try and get back going. Let's have a look at what's happening with Dominic here right now. As he now gets around, gets back going. and he's up into 6 now, well, down into 6 I would say, as BG Cactus gets by him before he gets fully back up to speed and back going there. So a bit of an incident for him. I'm not sure if he had any contact with Jerry at all, which I don't think he did. I think he just made a mistake losing the rear end of the car, and he's now down into 6th place. Jerry now leads the Monaco Grand Prix out in front here. We're going to have a look and see what the gap is between him and Hopeless there in second, which is now 1.3 seconds. It is right now. We're going to go back down right now to Devils here in P4, who's chasing after Cuban for 3rd place in this race here right now. Okay, so we're still continuing on to following on with Devils. He's just under a second chasing after Cuban, and has a BG Cactus under a second behind him as well. Dominic, our previous race leader, he's fallen down into P6 after a bit of a mistake on his end, getting through the tunnel section at the end there. And track might be drying up just a little bit more. We'll have a look at that in just a bit and see what's happening on track. Let's go on board actually. So it's still a bit difficult with the conditions on track here right now. It's nowhere near close enough for the dry tires as yet, so we're keeping tires on till to see when drivers does decide to start doing that here. But so far so good in terms of the race that we have. 17 drivers still in this race as we're on lap 21 right now of 39 and getting through. So we still got over 10 laps more to go, at least 18 laps or so more we still have to go in on this race here, if I counted that correctly there. And we're following on with a bit of the front of the grid here right now. We got Devil still chasing down Cuban for this position, and let's see if he's able to get an overtake down. BG Cactus behind Devils here running a P5, half a second that gap is, and we got Dominic into the pits here right now. I'm not sure if he took any damage, but Havlis now with a penalty running out front in second place. We're going to see how that penalty is working out for him. Let's have a look at penalties actually and see where they're at right now. So 5-second penalty there for Havlis. We got 3 seconds for Groot. Dominic has 3 seconds. Paulie has 3. And we got an 8-second penalty for Eska there. GG has 5. 8 seconds for HR12. Those 5-second penalties will go away with a pit stop. Of course, the 3 seconds will not. So let's keep this. Everyone's done stops and stops so far. So let's see what's going to happen with the rest of the race here right now. So following on through, let's see, Havlis is trying to get under a second behind race leader Jerry there, but not able to do that right now. Clement here in 8th position right now. He's under a second behind Carlo, chasing him down for that position. Let's see what the rest of the field is actually doing here right now. Blescon there in 9th. He's just about a second behind Dan Clement here right now, trying to chase him down for a position. He's starting to get that under a second actually, so Clement might have to start to get a bit worried about that. Gargamel here in P10. He's has a gap of under a second behind Blescon there. Groot has his gap under a second as well. And we got Paulie here, unfortunately. 17 seconds the gap is between him and Groot. And we got Dominic all the way down to 13th right now. 14th now. We got Eskas trying to push it on the inside. So that is Dominic getting up. And Eskas moved down to 14th. To GG there in 15th right now, getting through. That's the other Red Bull. And Cap here in 16th, running through still as yet. We got HR12 there in 17th as he continues on through for the moment there. Alright, let's get on back to the front of the grid here right now, guys, and have a look. We get a bit of a train of cars going on out front with Jerry, Havlis, Cuban, as well as Devils and BG Cactus here as well. So I'm trying to keep on with them. I say, well, let's go on board with Devils here and see how close these guys actually are. They're actually pretty close together. Of course, the overtaking is going to be a bit difficult between them here, but Jerry still continues to lead this race with Havlis here in second. That penalty is going to affect Havlis unless he does another pit stop and gets rid of that 5-second penalty, but that's going to cost him a position or two in the race when he does have to take the time in the pit stop to serve that 5-second stop go penalty there. And Cuban there running P3 still under a second behind Havlis. these top 4 or 5 cars are doing pretty well out front. Carlos about 11.6 seconds behind BG Cactus in P6 right now. So he has some time to actually catch up to the cars in front of him if he wants to try and fight for another position there. There has Jurek 3.5 seconds behind him. That's a bit of a closer gap, so he's going to have to be careful to make sure that that gap doesn't start to drop away from him there as well. As we can see, Devils is right up to the rear of Cuban's car here right now, but still not able to get by anytime soon here, because he still needs a pretty good gap to get to go with before that's even going to happen. I think if it does get fully dry on track for the dry off tires, and we might start to see a bit more overtaking happen. Oh, we got Devils trying to push it on the inside here right now. He's going to get on through. No, he's not. He's going to have to hold it back there in P4 right now. And does have BG Cactus coming just behind him. So he's going to have to be very, very careful not to lose that position by risking and trying an overtake move. That's just not possible at this point in the race. So he's going to have to be very careful and look for a very good gap to get an overtake done. Or just wait for Cuban to make some sort of mistake. Or just pressure him right now to make some sort of mistake in front. And that's going to be his best bet of getting that overtake done and over with, and getting around up into P3 onto the podium position here right now. So still a very bit of a difficult race for most of our drivers. And if we get on board with one of these cars, we're going to see how difficult it is still with conditions on the track. There's still a bit of a spray coming off the cars in front. We're currently on lap 25 of 39, about 14 to 15 laps more to go in this race here right now. And it's a 39 lap race, guys. So we did have about a few safety cars and a few VSCs at the start of the race, first half of the race. Fortunate that happened, but the conditions were very difficult that these guys started the race in. It started on full wets, and was just torrential rain coming down at that point in the race. It did start to ease off very quickly, and we got onto the intermediate tires to get to this point in the race here right now, and it's starting to ease off a little bit more, but it's still drizzling, as we can see from the back end diffuser of Devil's car there right now. It's still drizzling on track just a little bit, and still has some water on track, so these guys are going to need the intermediate tires to display that. We haven't seen anyone even attempt to go onto a dry tire compound as yet, which I would think would be a little bit crazy to even try that at this point. It's still just not dry enough, and BG Cactus catching up very quickly here to Devils, and looks like he might be trying for a move very soon. Dominic getting fastest lap down in the back there in P14. He was our race leader, started on pole, led the race for most of the race until he made a bit of a mistake at the exit of the tunnel section and fell all the way down a few positions, and then fell down even more positions down to 14th after taking a pit stop. And that's Jurek with a 3-second penalty there, and Jurek is running in 7th right now. We're going to have a look at penalties a little further on in the race as well, guys, to see where that's going to be at as we continue on through. But we got Hapless into the pits there right now. That's going to put Cuban up into 2nd place, and Devils now goes up into P3. Onto the podium he goes. He needs to keep this going on through to the end of the race here, and I think they will have to do another pit stop on these intermediate tires, but I think these guys might be holding off a bit to see if it's going to dry out and then go straight onto the dry tires here. Let's have a look on board to see what conditions are like on track here right now, and I think it's still a bit difficult for them to try and go onto the dry tires as yet. It's actually starting to look a little bit more dry on track here right now, but that's the tunnel section. Let's have a look out here and see what it's like. But it's still raining right now, which makes it a bit difficult to go onto the dry tires. But let's see if any drivers are going to try that anytime soon, but I don't think so. I think they might just push on through all the way to the end of the race on the intermediate tires. They'll probably do another pit stop at some point here just to get onto a fresh set of intermediates, but I think everybody is going to be pushing to the end of the race on intermediate tires as it is, because the conditions on track are still quite wet, so I don't think it's going to be ready anytime soon for dry tires here. So guys, we're still following on through with Devils and BG Cactus here, and still following on with him stating down Cuban here as well. Cuban has a bit of a gap still to catch up out in front of Jerry there, so let's go through back the rest of the field, see what's happening with everyone else. So we got BG Cactus falling off of the trail here just a little bit, and Devils getting pretty close, looking for an inside move on Cuban here, but not able to get it done. That was a pretty good attempt at it though. Almost had that done there, and yeah, just he has to be very careful about this. So let's keep on with this for just a bit to see if this is going to be an overtake happening pretty soon or not, because Devils is not looking to stay there in P3. He wants to get further up onto the podium and maybe finish on pole here if he can, and he's pushing on through pretty much as hard as he No, he's going to hold it up. Doesn't want to risk taking any damage off of that portion of the track there, which is what tends to happen. And Tojiji has retired off of the session, and that's happened, I think, down on the pit straight there. We're getting to that point pretty soon. He might have actually ended up into the wall there, and he's out of the race. Hopefully not a VSC. Please don't let it be a VSC right now, or a safety car, either on. Let's have a look, see if we can have a look at his car as we get around here right now. And there's his car stuck on track. I think that's going to just disappear. There we go. So that's going to be gone there right now. That yellow flag should be over. And we're fully on back racing here as it is right now. So unfortunate that Tojiji is out of this race. That's going to leave us with 16 drivers in this race here right now. Still not too bad for the Monaco Grand Prix. And we started with a full 20 drivers on the grid. So Jerry still continues to lead this race with Cuban there in second. Devils in third. BG Cactus running in fourth. And Carlos Ray running in fifth. Of course, look at the lap times, the laps that they've done on those set of tires there, and let's see if they're going to be doing a pit stop to get us on some fresh intermediate tires to go to the end of the race on, or if they're actually just still holding on to see if it's going to dry out enough to get onto the dry tires before we get to the end of the race. And HR12 is out of this race as well. Where has that happened on track? He might have retired in the pits. I'm not sure as yet. From what it seems like he did retire into the pits there, unfortunately. So that's 15 drivers left in this race here right now, as we have a few drivers cutting the track here at the moment as well. BG Cactus is getting a 3-second penalty there right now. That's going to cost him a podium position potentially here right now. We'll see how that works out. So Jerry still continues to lead on with Devils now up into second place, and he still has a gap of just close to under a second actually behind Jerry here, but he's going to be able to get by, I'm not sure. But Devils is fighting his way up the field here at the moment. Of course, he doesn't have any penalties to worry about, so he's going to have to continue keep on pushing through. And now he's going to be fighting for the lead of the race with just about 10.5 laps left to go in this race. We're getting down to the end pretty quickly, and let's see how the tires are going to hold up as we get further into the race. Alright, let's get a little further down into the field here, guys, and have a look what's happening with midfield right now. We've got Blescon behind Jurek here. It's a battle for P6 right now. Of course, the gap is just under a second to starting to get over a second, but just under a second. We got Gargamel with a very close gap between Blescon and himself there as well. About half a second that gap is, and we got Groot just behind that. He's trying to get a position up here as well, as we're following on with Gargamel here right now, on board with him. And let's see how that close gap is working up for him and Blescon. Gets into the back of Blescon's car just a little bit and gives him a little nudge, but they're still going on through. Dominic retiring from the race. Has he been knocked off somewhere? Let's see. And he has been. I'm trying to have a look at someone's car here right now. And his car has already disappeared off of the track, so we're not going to be able to see it. But he got taken out just around Sector 1 there. And fortunately, no VSC or safety car. But let's see what's happening out front. So we got Devils. He's still. Dominic has left the session there now. So yeah, we got Devils chasing down after Jerry here. So still with no penalties. Both of them running 17 laps on these tires so far. So it's going pretty well for Devils out front. And let's have a look at what driver of the day might actually look like here, because that is what penalties are like right now. Not too bad with the penalties at the moment, but it is going to affect some positions in this race, as we can see, with some of these guys being very close off together there at the moment. So let's have a look at tires. We know. And we got someone trying off the medium tires here right now, going onto the dry. Is it dry enough on track for that? The rain is very, very light here. So just a few drizzles coming down still. And let's see how that's working out here right now. Hey Gamer APK, how are you doing, man? Thank you guys for joining on to the session and having a look at what this race is going on. It's quite an interesting race we've been having here. Qualifying was actually excellent. It was full dry with the qualifying. We had a full-on wet start at this race. It was like torrential rain coming down at the start of the race. Very difficult conditions for these guys to work with. We then went on to the intermediate time, which we're on to right now, and it seems like it's starting to dry off on track just right now for these guys to get onto the dry tire compounds, and we seem to be much faster on the dry tires as well, as Cuban is now getting past Paulie there, gets up into 9th position and is going to continue on through with that. So he seems to be doing pretty well on the dry tires at the moment. I think he might still be having a bit of trouble. The track, I mean, the tires are going to still be a little bit colder than usual, than would have been a full dry race. But let's see if they're going to continue on through with the tires as it is and push on through. We got just about 8.5 laps left to go in this race. We're on lap 31 of 39 here right now. So let's get on back out in front. I think Devils is getting pretty close off in front with Jerry here. And these top three are going to be watching on each other to see who's doing a pit stop and who's not doing a pit stop here at the moment. Hey gamer, yeah, I remember we were talking Discord there. I remember you, don't worry. As soon as I saw the name, I remember you were, oh, and we got a bit of incident on track here. Someone spun a wrong, what happened there? And that is BG Cactus losing the rear end of his car, getting off. That's the second car we've seen had a spin around there in this race so far. Dominic there, who's out of the race already, who's currently finished 15 there, he's out of the race. He started on pole position on this race in P1, led most of the race, then had a bit of an incident, had a spin around there, and then it just went downwards from there for him until he got taken out of this race. They're unfortunate for him, but oh, we got some pit stops happening out front here right now. Devils has not pitted. He's continuing on in the race on those intermediate tires. Might be taking a pit stop on this occasion. We'll see. And we got cars pitting right now, going onto the soft tires, fastest dry tire that we have to get on with the race here right now. This is on PS4 Gamer APK. It's PS4 League that I'm streaming here for right now. I have this game both on PS4 and Xbox that I do league streams on. Mostly on the PS4, not so much on the Xbox at the moment. But I do league streams sometimes on the Xbox side as well. I don't have it on my PC right now because PC is not able to run it that I have until I get a bit of upgraded one. But so far just running these streams on PS4 and on the Xbox there. Alright, so let's see what's happening up front. So, Devils did not pit. He's about 19 seconds behind, in front of Jerry there. And he's going to continue on through that. We got just about 7 laps to go. Is he going to continue on those intermediate tires to the end of the race? Or is he going to take a pit stop? He's running in Sector 3 here right now. Let's see if he's going to take a pit stop. He has 19 seconds to work with. It might actually be enough time for him to take a pit stop and get back out into the lead of the race ahead of Jerry. Let's see if that's going to work out. Looks like he's trying to get into the pits here right now, slowing down very much and trying to avoid any contact with the barriers and avoid getting any damage. Let's follow on with Jerry here right now. He's flying through the track on those soft tires, getting around, and he might be able to go up ahead and get ahead of Devils back to take back the lead of the race. Let's see if that's going to happen here right now, because we already have Devils exiting the pits here right now. He's getting back out, and let's get on back to Jerry, who's coming around the pit straight and getting back out. Oh, and Devil's having a bit of problem there. I think he got into the wall just a bit, but he's out in front of Jerry. Got the lead of the race and kept it because of staying out one more lap on when these guys did their pit stop. So that's going to be a good end. Let's have a look. Does he have any damage on that car? I think he took some damage on the front wing. Yep, he is missing a right side end plate on the front wing. If you can have a look at that Red Bull there on the front wing, that end plate is missing. That's going to affect his performance in the car as we get on through to the end here right now. Is Devils going to be able to hold on to the pole position as he has here right now? He doesn't have any penalty. Jerry doesn't have any penalty. So whoever crosses that line first gets a pole position win here. But it's going to be very difficult for Devils to hold on to the lead here right now with a damaged front wing. He took that damage just getting out on the exit of the pit lane there. So he's going to have to try and get some sort of gap. He already has 1.7 seconds of a gap between himself and Jerry there for the lead of the race. Let's see if Jerry on fresh soft tires as well. Let's see if he's going to be able to catch up to Devils and maybe get by him. Gap is over a second. And I haven't seen DRS being enabled as yet, so I'm not sure if race control is going to enable that or not, but I think it's some very, very light drizzles. If you can watch and see on the screen there, guys, it's some very light drizzles still on track, so I don't think the race control is going to enable DRS. And yep, we do have a lot of penalties in this race here right now, but that does kind of happen when it is the way it was with the kind of start that we had to this race. It was just very, very wet and very difficult for these guys to keep this going. And we know as it is right now, guys, as we said before, Monaco is a very tight track. Its barriers, both sides of the track, are very close off each other. As you can see, it's very difficult to drive along this track and keep a race going without taking damage to your car and avoid getting penalties here. So let's have a look how this is working out for Devil. He's now 2.2 seconds ahead of Jerry. He's gaining time. Even with a broken front wing, he's driving and flying around the track out there in front, right? Let's have a look at him. Yeah, definitely, he's still flying around the track. And Cuban now getting fastest lap in the race so far. We'll see who gets the fastest lap down at the end of the race as that continues on through. Jerry there, 2.4 seconds behind, and he's trying to catch up as much as he can. We got BG Cactus here, has a penalty to work with, and is just right on the rear of Jerry's car. He's looking to get up a position up into second place if he can. Of course, that penalty is going to set him back just a bit. We're going to keep penalties on from this point onwards, maybe go to the end, but let's have a look. Is anyone still on the intermediate tires as we are going here right now? Let's have a look at that. So no, everybody's now onto the dry tires as we continue on through. We're going to leave penalties as it is and follow on with BG Cactus here as he's chasing now Jerry there for that position right now. A 3-second penalty, which means he needs to get ahead of Jerry into P2, and he will need to get a 3-second gap going if he wants to keep that position there. Yep, that is correct, Gamer EPK. This Williams driver here, that's Jerry, he's going to be safe, still getting P2 in the race because of the 3-second penalty that BG Cactus has there. The only way BG Cactus is getting P2 is if he gets ahead in the next 4 laps and gets a 3-second gap ahead of Jerry. That's the only possible way he's going to be able to keep a second place in this race. So he's going to have to try as much as he can to catch up and get that done. These guys are going to push on through. They're not going to be giving up on that account anytime soon. And what's happening with Gargamel down in the back here? I think someone in the pits or not. Oh, he's getting out to the pits here right now. The graphic is just not showing because we're on penalties at the moment here. But yeah, been going pretty well so far. We started to lose drivers just getting close to halfway into the race. We had about 3 safety cars, 3 VSCs in the race so far. If I lost count, I'm not even sure. But we had quite a few of them in the first half of the race just because of the way the conditions were on track. It was very difficult. Opening lap, we had carbon fiber flying off these cars all over the track. And that caused a virtual safety car just on the opening lap itself. Just because of the amount of damage there was on cars with the amount of debris on the track. They had to just call off VSC for that. And Jerry looks like he's about to lose that position. Minor contact between the two of them here right now. And BG Cactus looking to get by, getting fastest sector 1. Oh, and he's going to push on through in that. A bit of contact more between them. No damage so far as they go on through. So that's BG Cactus up into P2. Takes away second place. But it's going to have a very difficult time keeping it because he now has a 6-second penalty. So it's going to be very difficult. With just about 3.5 laps left to go, he needs to get 6 seconds ahead of Jerry here. Let's see how far ahead he's going to be able to get within a lap's time. And see if that's worked out well for him or not. Because getting on board with Jerry here. Jerry is still under a second. Actually starting to lose some time here right now as Clement gets fastest lap in the Mercedes down there in P8, and both Mercedes running 7th and 8th in the moment, so not too bad on that end there. Yep, so we do have BG Cactus needing to build a gap of about 6 seconds, and he's doing pretty well so far. Gotta be honest with you, because that gap is now up to 2.5. Devil's out front with his broken front wing. He's running pretty well with that, and I think he's just trying to avoid any more damage. Of course, BG Cactus is going to be catching up pretty quickly to him if he's not careful. His 1.9 second is that gap. It was a bit more just about 10 seconds ago, and it's starting to drop even more right now, and we're going to run out of laps in this race very soon, so Devils has to hold on for another 2.5 laps if he wants to take the race win here right now. But he's going to be getting it either way, because remember, BG Cactus does have that penalty. He's not going to have enough time to get ahead, about 6 seconds ahead of Devils to keep a pole position win here, but he might be able to get ahead 6 seconds of Jerry down there in P3 to actually keep second place in this race, because he's doing pretty well of that so far. 4.6 seconds is the gap. Actually 4.8 seconds is the gap right now. and is getting even further up as we continue on through in this race, and he's chasing down Devils, now half a second behind, and looks like he might be able to get ahead of the Red Bull before the end of this race. Into lap 38 we go here right now, and that's going to be quite a close gap to work with. Devils is under some serious pressure of keeping the lead. And he's definitely feeling the pressure. He has a 3-second penalty, so that's going to come a bit into play here right now as BG Cactus looking to get by already, and this is going to be quite interesting for the finish of this race to see how this works out, because with just 0.3 of a second of a gap, it's very easy for BG Cactus to get by here right now, especially on a dry track now. It's going to be much easier to get that overtake done, but it does depend on the gap that's is going to be left by Devils here. Is he going to have enough room? Is he going to try it at the end of the tunnel section here? Let's have a look and see how this is going to work out, because this is going to be quite close between Devils and BG Cactus. Definitely looks like Cactus is going to get second place in the race, because he's about to get 6 seconds ahead of Jerry there, as gap is already up to 5.8 seconds, and it's going to be quite close. And Jerry now takes a penalty, which means that's going to cut it off. Now that means Jerry is losing off on second place. He's going to have to finish third here right now, and with Carlos there 22 seconds behind, that's going to help him out. So top three, a bit of a battle between them. So let's see, Devils and BG Cactus, these two are going to fight it off all the way to the end of the race, and Devils needs to hold them up just for this one more lap into the final lap of the Monaco Grand Prix we go right now, as that gap is so extremely close but very difficult to overtake on this track, which is going to come to an advantage to Devils here right now. He's going to have to try and keep that lead just for a quarter of a lap more, actually, to just go across the line, and I think BG Cactus is going to fight him all the way through, takes him down the inside and forces it through right now, and looks like he's going to get that position up, and both of them getting a bit contact more going on. And let's see, the thing they're getting it through, and that's another penalty for Devils. He has a 6-second penalty as well, as if he had just kept the 3-second penalty, I think he would have still gotten the race win. Unfortunately, he took another penalty by cutting the track on that corner there. So that's going to cost him pole position in this race here right now as they continue on through. BG Cactus up into P1 with his 6-second penalty. He's way ahead of Jerry there, because Jerry now has a 3-second penalty as well. Devils got another penalty on the final lap of this race, which is costing him a pole position here right now. BG Cactus driving pretty well though, as he's going to get a pole position win in Sector 3. They're going wrong, and just about one more turn to get around. Back onto the pit straight we go here right now. BG Cactus taking pole position for the Monaco Grand Prix. An exciting race finish for him. We got Devils taking second place right now. Jerry's gonna come around. He takes third position, and that's our top three finishers on the podium there. We got Carlos coming another 24 seconds behind here right now. So a bit of a gap the rest of the grid is at the moment as he's coming around through. A bit more penalties to work out down the back here as well. Quite a few 6-second penalties, but Carlos here is gonna finish right there in fourth because he only has a 3-second penalty, and really that's not really going to affect him with the car behind, because the car in front already finished ahead by quite a bit. But quite an exciting finish. Really didn't expect that to happen there. I did expect BG Cactus to get ahead of Jerry by that 6 seconds, which he did, and then Jerry got a penalty. We did expect a second, third finish for the two of them, and Devils finishing in fourth. But unfortunate for Devils, BG Cactus went ahead and actually got that overtake done, and then forced Devils into getting another penalty, which cost him a race win here this evening. So Carlos there getting P4. We have Cuban finishing here in P5. Groot takes P6. Paulie takes 7. Clement takes 8. Jurek takes 9 there right now. Gargamel is going to finish in 10. Blescon takes 11. Cap in 12. And Escos there finishes in 13. Unfortunately, quite a few drivers were not able to finish this race. It was quite an exciting race. Let's have a look at who got driver of the day for that one. But still, honestly, did not see that coming for the end of the race there. A bit of an exciting finish. And that's Paulie there getting driver of the day. So Mercedes driver getting a driver of the day. Not too bad on him. Had a pretty good race there as well. We're going to have one final look here at our results. And honestly, that was quite an exciting race. We got next round coming up next week with this league as well. Of course, on my channel, we do have quite a number of league races happening during the course of the week, guys. So do join us on for that as well. I think we got the Bahrain Grand Prix on my channel tomorrow, but we're gonna have round 8 here with EFRL on their channel next week. But let's have a look one final time at the results as it is at the moment there. Thanks, Gamer APK. Glad you enjoyed that. And you joined that right on at the exact time that we're getting to the finish of the race. So it looks like BG Cactus takes our pole position. Devils are finishes in second. Jerry finishes in third. We got Carlos finishing fourth. Cuban in fifth. Groot in sixth. We got Paulie 7. Clement 8. Jurek in 9. Gargamel in 10. Bless Conte in 11. Cop in 12. Escas 13. Havlis 14. Dominic 15. HR 12 there in 16. Tojiji there in 17. We got Debbie Zach in 18. Bradsek 19. Christoph there in 20. And it was actually great to have a full grid of 20 drivers on this race here. And we got Gargamel taking fastest a lap in the race. So good job on him for actually getting that done. And yep, that was pretty exciting race. So thank you guys for joining on for the session. Oh, and Paulie did get driver of the day on that there. So yeah, thank you, man. Gamer APK. Look forward to some more commentary on my channel. This is the only one that I do off my channel, which is on EFRL here. But I still post a link down in my Discord, so you guys always know when I'm live and what's happening as well. So yeah, guys, thank you guys for joining on to the session for this race. We're going to end off the session here. And anybody interested in watching another race, we got one coming up in about 30 minutes on my channel, IG8Live Esports. It's going to be a Formula 2 race. So going to look forward to that. And that's going to be at Singapore and a night race and another tight track. So going to be a lot of fun on that one as well. So see you guys then.